with so much attention now on AI and emerging technologies, what's some ways that educators can make sure that they don't lose sight of the human side of adult learning?
So s- focus on the learning outcome. I say this all the time, right? You probably heard me say this already just in the few times we've kind of talked. Focus on that learning outcome first. Don't focus on the technology first. Think about, okay, what outcome am I trying to achieve? And then go backwards from that. Start thinking about what does a student need to achieve that outcome? You might come to the conclusion that you don't need technology to achieve that outcome. That's okay, right? Where I think we falter in this is we are pressured or we feel like that we have to start with the technology. So now we have a technology in search of an outcome, which it's probably not going to work. Maybe you get lucky, right? And it works okay. You got to go the other way. Start with the objective. Figure out what does the student need, and you may lay out that pathway and go, okay, student really doesn't need technology, but technology in this part would help that individual achieve that outcome, and think through that process. Now you're getting into real educational technology integration into the curriculum or a design versus just tacking it on because you're tacking it on, right? You can now
Absolutely.
describe how that technology is being used to better achieve that learning outcome. And that should be like, we should be able to do that every time. We should be able to have that explanation. And again, I completely recognize that there's a lot of pressures out there in different organizations. They get this new shiny tool and they say everybody has to use this new shiny tool, right? But again, that can, if it's not integrated correctly, you might getting neutral at best, but you're probably hurting the learning process because you're adding
Right.
something cognitive load wise to the learning experience to achieve that outcome. So again, I emphasize so much, start with the learning outcome you're trying to achieve. And then you can start thinking through how that technology potentially be integrated to improve it. And again, keeping that human element completely first. That's first. That learning outcome and achievement is first. Technology secondary.
Right. Absolutely. Dwayne, I can think of a most really recent example of this when we were working on a uh, a counseling course, and it was for a specific area. It was addiction counseling, and so we have an undergraduate and a graduate program that we work on for the university, and so we have these, and it's based on AI technology. It's called virtual interactive personas, and so what it does is I don't know if you and I talked about this in another one, but basically what it does is it allows the AI tool to actually we create clients. They're virtual personas of clients, and then the student acts as the instead of the client. Well, yeah, the virtual active interactive persona acts as the client, and then they are the counselor. So they have this interaction with the persona as if they're working with the client, and it's so realistic. It's amazing. And so we did it for an undergraduate course, and it was all about different types of addictions and how to help them through that, and how to do the case notes and all of that. It's amazing. But then they wanted to do it for one of the graduate courses, and the program manager said, "Hey, can you make sure that you use this for this topic and this assignment?" So that when we were working with the faculty subject matter experts, they were like, "This doesn't really work. I don't think we can do this. We can integrate AI. We can have the students use AI and do like a case study, but these particular personas won't work for this assignment. It's not going to work in the course." And so we had to end up going back to the program manager and saying, yeah, we couldn't quite fit that in there. And so, rather than trying to shove it in there, let's not do
E-
that. Let's make
e-
it work for what we're trying. What's the outcome? What are we trying to achieve? So that's a good
Exactly.
example, right?